everyone, I'm Grant, the Rusty Autoholic guy, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reinstalling my Kubota V2403 into my TJ Wrangler. Once we have this reinstalled, we will then be installing the Ford 6R80 6-speed automatic and checking to see if we have any clearance issues. Right now I do not have the transfer case adapter. I actually need to take apart the transfer case. I'm not sure I'm going to be doing that today. So we have a lot of work ahead of us, so I'm going to go ahead and get to work. Alright, I just realized it's going to make more sense to go ahead and put the transmission underneath the Jeep. I actually have to lift the side of the Jeep a little bit to slide the transmission on my transmission jack underneath the Jeep. That way I'm not trying to do that with the engine in place but still being held by the engine hoist. It just kind of makes sense to go ahead and do that first. So we're going to do that real quick and then we'll reinstall the engine and then we will mate the transmission to the engine. This is a ridiculously heavy transmission. So just for safety, I'm going to get a couple of ratchet straps and I'm going to ratchet strap this transmission to the transmission jack so when I'm going to install it, I don't have to worry about this falling on me, because this thing is like 220 plus pounds. Like, I can get it on here, but it takes everything I have to do it. Alright, I'm actually really happy with this. I can tilt it, lift it. I'll be able to rotate it, do all the adjustments I need to get this installed. So, just want to check one other quick thing. Yeah, this is going to actually work really well. So, now we need to get this. This is going to come down fast. Now we have to get this underneath the Wrangler. So I'm going to do that right now. I don't like doing this, but I really don't have an option right now. I really need to get that transmission underneath there, and there just is no way for me to lift that transmission onto the transmission jack with me underneath there. I'm just not strong enough. So we're gonna do this real quick, get it underneath, and then we're gonna lower it. Again, I'm not a fan of doing this, but you gotta make it work somehow. I really wouldn't recommend doing that, but I didn't have any other way of doing it. That transmission is so heavy, I can't physically lift it onto the transmission jack while I'm underneath. So, yeah, now that that's in, let's get the diesel engine mounted back into the Wrangler. Now we're gonna focus on getting the engine back in the Wrangler. I'm gonna first reattach these motor mounts. I've discovered it's gonna be easier to remove and install this engine with these motor mounts already installed. We can just mount them real quick and drop them down onto the frame tabs that are already on the Wrangler. So I'm going to do that real quick before we install this. Alright, that was most definitely the correct way to install the engine. I have 2 of the 4 fasteners installed in the motor mounts. I'm going to hold off on installing the rest until I have the transmission hooked up, just in case I have any kind of fitment issue or anything. I want to be able to get the engine out relatively quickly. So I'm going to get a shop light, I'm going to move the camera, and now, if everything goes well, we're going to connect the transmission to the engine. All right, everyone, I have 2 bolts in the transmission going to the engine, and the torque converter studs are coming through the flex plate. It's in, but this was a trick. Here, I'm going to show you what I ended up having to do. I apologize for the super bright light, but I'm hoping you can see this. So this is my transmission jack, and the transmission has a bit of a hump right there in the pan, and it actually slid backwards. Now, the front ratchet strap held it in place, which is what I needed, but I couldn't tilt it anymore. So I had to get my regular jack with a piece of wood to push it up and kind of get everything aligned. And then every time I had to move or shift the transmission, I had to lift or lower both jacks, and it just really became kind of a shuffling game to get everything in place. I need to find a way to support the transmission back here, but I believe we clear everything. Here. Okay, yeah, so to give you an idea of how much room we have, this is the tonneau cover inside the tub, so the transmission doesn't even come to here. We're gonna have a ton of room to the rear drive shaft. I'm actually really happy with everything. I do need to check some clearances, but I believe everything clears. I mean, this is a massive transmission, and this was not easy to do, but I think this is gonna work, and I think this is actually gonna work out quite well. So I am super excited about this. All right, everyone, that's all I have for this video. I am wore out. Getting that Ford 6R80 automatic transmission in place took way more effort than I was expecting, but we have the engine back in, we have the transmission installed and mounted to the engine, and for now, that's all I'm gonna do. We still have a lot left to do. I still need to take apart the interior. I have to remove the old shifters. I still have to address the wiring, which I realize I still haven't done. There's still a whole lot to do, but we're making progress, and I'm very happy with what I'm seeing so far. So hey, it's YouTube. You know what to do. Take out more than you bring, tread lightly, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.